Have you ever felt that someone around you secretly wanted you to fail? Not openly. Not aggressively. But quietly, patiently, almost politely. They smile when you speak. They congratulate you when you succeed. Yet something feels off. A tension you can't explain. A presence that drains instead of supports. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Real jealousy is never loud. It is silent. It hides behind kindness, jokes, and false encouragement. And that is what makes it dangerous. The Stoics understood this centuries ago. Marcus Aurelius warned that people who feel threatened by your progress will never attack you directly, they will undermine you internally. Epictetus went further, reminding us that other people's envy is outside our control, but our reaction to it defines our strength. This video is not about paranoia. It is about clarity. Because once you can recognize the signs of extreme jealousy, you stop internalizing it. You stop reacting emotionally. You stop being controlled. By the end of this video, you will be able to identify jealousy. Understand why it exists. And most importantly, remain completely unaffected by it. As a true Stoic would. Stay until the end. Sign number 1, they downplay your success. When someone is extremely jealous of you, they rarely attack your success directly. Instead, they reduce it. You achieve something meaningful, and their response sounds harmless. That's not a big deal. Anyone could do that. You were just lucky. Notice what's happening here. They are not criticizing you, they are shrinking the value of your achievement so they don't have to confront their own sense of inadequacy. From a Stoic perspective, this behavior reveals inner conflict. Marcus Aurelius wrote that people act poorly not because they choose evil, but because they are confused about what is truly good. Your success becomes a mirror they cannot face. The Stoic response is simple but powerful: detachment. You do not need validation from someone who feels diminished by your growth. Your work speaks for itself. If someone constantly minimizes your progress, it is not humility they are teaching you. It is jealousy revealing itself quietly. Sign number 2, they secretly enjoy your failures. When something goes wrong in your life, a jealous person rarely celebrates openly. They don't laugh. They don't mock you. They do something far more revealing. They become calm. Relieved. Almost comfortable. They might say the right words: "I'm sorry that happened." But there is no urgency, no empathy, no discomfort in their voice. Your failure brings them peace, because it restores balance in their mind. The Stoics recognize this reaction as a symptom of comparison. Seneca warned that people who measure their worth against others will always suffer when someone rises above them. Your struggle temporarily quiets their insecurity. From a Stoic point of view, this is not something to resent. It is something to observe without attachment. Your setbacks are part of your path, not entertainment for others. And anyone who feels better when you fall was never truly on your side to begin with. A Stoic does not seek sympathy. They seek resilience. Sign number 3, they constantly compete with you. A jealous person turns life into a silent competition, even when no competition exists. Every time you share progress, they immediately respond with their own achievement. If you improve, they rush to prove they are improving too. Your success becomes a trigger, not an inspiration. This is not ambition. It is insecurity disguised as motivation. The Stoics warned against this trap. Seneca wrote that no one can live peacefully while constantly measuring themselves against others. Comparison creates endless hunger, because there is always someone ahead. Notice the pattern. They are not focused on their own values or direction. They are focused on keeping up with you. The Stoic response is detachment, not confrontation. You don't explain yourself. You don't slow down. You don't compete back. You continue your path quietly, guided by reason rather than ego. When someone must constantly race you, it is because they are afraid of being left behind. Sign number 4, they give you bad advice disguised as help. One of the most dangerous signs of jealousy is advice that sounds supportive but leads you away from your path. They say things like, "Maybe you should slow down. Are you sure this is the right time? I'm just worried about you." On the surface, it looks like care. In reality, it plants doubt. The Stoics were deeply aware of this behavior. Epictetus taught that we must judge guidance not by tone, but by outcome. Advice that weakens your discipline, clarity, or courage is never neutral. A jealous person does not want you to fail publicly. They want you to limit yourself voluntarily. The Stoic response is discernment. You listen without obedience. You reflect without surrender. You do not argue or accuse. You simply measure advice against reason and your own values. If someone consistently encourages hesitation when you are moving forward, it is not protection they offer. It is fear wearing the mask of concern. Sign number 5, they copy you, then criticize you. A deeply jealous person is often torn between admiration and resentment. They observe you closely. They adopt your habits, your style, your ideas. Sometimes even your words. But once they imitate you, something strange happens. They begin to criticize the very things they copied. They mock the path they are secretly trying to follow. This contradiction reveals inner conflict. The Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius wrote that people hate what reminds them of what they failed to become. Your example exposes their hesitation. From a Stoic perspective, imitation is not an insult, it is evidence of influence. Criticism, however, is their attempt to regain control over wounded pride. The Stoic response is silence. You don't defend originality. You don't accuse imitation. You remain consistent. Time exposes authenticity far better than argument ever could. When someone mirrors you and then attacks the reflection, they are not rejecting you. They are struggling with themselves. Sign number 6, they use subtle insults, passive aggression. Jealousy rarely shows itself through direct hostility. It prefers subtlety. A jealous person delivers insults wrapped as jokes. Compliments with a hidden edge. Statements that leave you wondering if you imagined the disrespect. You've changed, but I guess success does that to people. I'm proud of you, even if it won't last forever. The Stoics warned against reacting to these provocations. Epictetus taught that if someone can disturb your inner peace, you have handed them control. Passive aggression is a test. They want a reaction. They want emotional confirmation that they still affect you. The Stoic response is mastery of self. You do not explain. You do not retaliate. You do not seek clarification. You let the words pass without lodging in your mind. When someone hides contempt behind politeness, it is not intelligence on display. It is jealousy afraid to speak openly. Sign number 7, they are uncomfortable with your growth. When you begin to grow, change, or evolve, a jealous person feels exposed. They don't always criticize you directly. Instead, they grow distant. Awkward. Uneasy in your presence. Your discipline reminds them of their excuses. Your progress highlights their stagnation. The Stoics understood that personal growth creates tension in relationships. Marcus Aurelius wrote that when someone is disturbed by another's improvement, it is because they feel judged without being accused. A jealous person preferred the old version of you. The version that made them feel safe. The Stoic response is acceptance. Not everyone is meant to grow alongside you. Not everyone is meant to stay. You do not shrink to preserve comfort. You do not apologize for becoming better. Growth will always make some people uncomfortable. That discomfort is not your responsibility. Sign number 8, they question whether you deserve your success. A jealous person rarely says, "I'm jealous." Instead, they question your legitimacy. They hint that you were lucky. That you had help. That circumstances favored you. Right place, right time. Anyone would succeed with those advantages. The Stoics recognized this as an attack on character rather than outcome. Epictetus taught that external results are not fully within our control, but effort and virtue are. By questioning your deservingness, they attempt to reclaim moral superiority. If your success is accidental, then their lack of progress feels justified. The Stoic response is indifference to judgment. You do not defend your worth. You do not recount your sacrifices. Your character does not require witnesses. Your discipline does not need approval. When someone doubts your merit, it is not truth they seek. It is comfort for their wounded ego. Sign number 9, they distance themselves when you succeed. Watch carefully what happens when you begin to win. A jealous person doesn't confront you. They disappear. They stop calling. They stop engaging. They remove themselves quietly from your life. Your success becomes unbearable because it forces them to confront what they have avoided. Being near you reminds them of the gap between intention and action. Marcus Aurelius warned that praise and companionship are often conditional. People support you while you remain relatable, not while you rise. The Stoic response is non-attachment. You do not chase explanations. You do not beg for presents. People who leave when you succeed were never anchored to you. They were anchored to their own comfort. A Stoic understands this truth. Not everyone who walks with you is meant to reach the summit with you. Sign number 10, they talk about you behind your back. When jealousy reaches its peak, it avoids direct confrontation. Instead of speaking to you, they speak about you. They question your intentions. They distort your actions. They plant doubt in rooms where you are not present. The Stoics recognized gossip as the weapon of the powerless. Epictetus taught that what others say or think lies outside our control, and therefore outside our concern. A jealous person chooses whispers over honesty because whispers feel safe. They protect their image while damaging yours. The Stoic response is restraint. You do not chase rumors. You do not correct every lie. Truth has endurance. Gossip relies on repetition. When someone speaks behind your back, it is not courage you are witnessing. It is envy afraid of direct light. Sign number 11, they want you to stay the same. This is the most revealing sign of all. A jealous person does not necessarily want you to fail. They want something more subtle. They want you to stop evolving. They support you only as long as you remain familiar, predictable, and non-threatening. The moment you change, your mindset, your discipline, your standards, their support fades. They say, "You've changed. You're not like before. I miss the old you." What they truly miss is the version of you that did not challenge their self-image. The Stoics taught that change is not betrayal, it is duty. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that nature itself is in constant transformation. To resist growth is to resist life. The Stoic response is courage. You do not freeze yourself to preserve comfort. You do not shrink to protect relationships. Anyone who needs you to remain small so they can feel safe was never supporting you. They were supporting their own insecurity. Stoic conclusion. Jealousy is not an enemy to fight. It is a signal to observe. It reveals where others feel inadequate, fearful, or left behind. But the Stoics remind us of a greater truth. None of this is yours to carry. You cannot control how others perceive your growth. You cannot manage their envy. You can only govern your response. Indifference is not coldness. It is mastery. When you stop reacting to jealousy, it loses its power. When you stop explaining yourself, you regain your freedom. When you focus on virtue rather than validation, you become untouchable. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed." Walk your path. Grow without apology. Let jealousy remain where it belongs. Outside your mind.